What's Dewey?
It's the bass.
LOSO __ G.
DK, the engineer.
It's your boy, Let Have the T, B4V. You go, boy.
It's the bass.
Run down.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
All right. Let's get this fucking party started. Bitch, where the fuck is my fucking money?
Yeah. Where is your money, bro? Senate Democrats and Republicans, they still can't cut a deal. And then what's crazy enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guess what's about to happen? Anyone guess what's about to happen?
The election?
No. Even before that. It can take weeks for them to solve the problem.
Nah, I'm fresh out. I can't
because each
this.
party, let's see, it can take weeks more for lawmakers to agree on another aid package as no talks are scheduled. And 2020 political conventions will consume the major parties for the next 2 weeks.
Oh, bet.
Remember,
RNC,
Democratic
DNC.
Convention. Yep, RNC, DNC. Yep. Man.
Wait, explain this to me. Explain this to me because I don't really understand any of this bullshit. I don't really follow politics.
All right, go ahead.
Politics. I don't follow.
I said it right.
He's
Correct?
like politics.
It's politics. That's really what it is.
Nice.
I see
what you did there.
I see what you did there. Politics the musical. But
oh yeah, facts.
So basically, there's certain times where Congress goes on hiatus. One of those times is during the national conventions. Is essentially a rallying point where it's hard to describe, but it's part like pep rally, part
pep rally,
political display, part part riling up of each party to get behind whatever candidate they go for. It's like a networking thing. It's a show. It's interesting. It's many things. The Republican National Convention, Democratic National Convention. But basically, it's just pretty much a staging point where each of the respective candidates from each parties pretty much shows off, tries to unify, quote unquote, the parties. And it basically kicks off the last stretch between August and election in November.
So they're just glorified. No, go ahead.
Nah, go ahead, man.
They're just glorified pep rallies, like week-long pep rallies.
It's a halftime show, basically.
Yeah, that's even better.
So
that's even better.
Bitch, when am I gonna have my money? That's what I want to know. What the fuck? So if this is all going on, like, what does that mean for me getting that check?
I mean, it's a lot of layers to it. Like, okay, so you could look at it from. You could root for Trump and be like, yo, he just signed these executive orders. So what the Congress should do is they should just, wash their hands of it and push these executive orders. But the thing with these executive orders that you sign, like, for instance, the unemployment one for $400, like Chuck Schumer went off on it. He's like, listen, first of all, no state is going to, especially states like California, their governor came out, states like New York, their Cuomo came out. Like you're basically asking the states to fit the bill because the government is too lazy to pay for the last, 25% of the $400? Like, you're talking millions and millions, almost billions of dollars that you're asking these states to just cut. So if they were to do that, they'd obviously have to take that money that's already been appropriated for the fiscal year, cut that from somewhere else. Like, okay, so we're just about to lay off a whole bunch of doctors and lay off a whole bunch of firefighters and lay off a whole bunch of cops and teachers and construction workers just to pay that weekly bill, you see what I'm saying, for these unemployed workers. So states are just like, you can't do that. You can't. You're cutting corners. Not to mention what's being omitted from this. Nancy Pelosi talked about this. She's like, yo, the Republicans initially wanted to give $250,000 for corona testing. Just $250,000, not $1 million, not even $500,000, $250,000. They feel like that $250K, that's all we need for testing and tracing nationwide. Mind you, we're a country of 360 million?
I just don't like. I don't get it, bro. I just feel like this is just so bad for everybody. It's
It
like,
is.
why do they keep just pushing this off? Like, I don't know,
Because
man. It frustrates me.
it's politics. Each party wants what they want because I mean there's many layers to it. You know, there's kind of this sort of gamesmanship, right? Where
Yep.
whichever party wins kind of sets the precedent for how the country will act in similar crises, right? So if you have one party that largely believes that the federal government isn't particularly good at administering things, and it's better to give as little support as possible. You know, there's a fundamental belief that government just really exists just to protect property rights and the rights of people, and not necessarily exists to provide a wide range of services. If you believe that, then you're not going to want the government to provide. And if you're on the other side, right, Democrats, you know, I mean, just largely approximating what they believe is that they believe that it's the role of government to help people, right, in times of need. Then, you know,
They're just being fucking stupid, bro. They're just playing game theory with us. That's all they're
it
fucking
is.
doing.
I mean, it is, bro. But I mean, but it's one of those things. It's like if you want a certain amount of money, right, to help the problem, it's like where, you know, how do you compromise? It's like I understand where you're coming from, but it's like if you have these two groups that fundamentally have different beliefs and don't want to compromise, like how do you remedy that?
Like bipartisanship, by definition, is supposed to be both sides of the aisle or both sides of the table, like coming to a mutual understanding, common ground, right? That's how the CARES Act took place. But the comedy behind it is here in the second round of stimulus or relief, you're seeing things pop up that one particular side, the Republicans, had no interest in having before. We mentioned this in past episodes. For instance, the universal $600 unemployment benefit. Again, I keep saying this. Republicans do not like anything universal because they think it's socialism. And socialism and capitalism are two very different things. So they're just
and
like,
it's funny, not to cut you off, I'll let you keep going, but it's not socialism for the government to provide a service. Socialism is when people democratically own the means of production. It has nothing to do with getting quote unquote free stuff or having the government supply stuff. Just the point.
Facts.
So yeah.
No, thank you.
My bad.
That's a great.
So it's not socialism to have your government keep you from starving. But yeah, keep going.
Facts. You know, and that's us informed folk. We know that, which makes the Republicans look even more ridiculous when they try to prop that up. And like there are 20 senators, Republican senators, that didn't even want to do a second round of stimulus. They were just like, we gave them the CARES Act. Like they're good now.
Fuck it. If he dies, he dies.
If he dies, he dies. Straight Ivan Drago over there. Bitches. Like they're terrible. Yeah. They're just the worst.
And it seems really weird because it wouldn't even necessarily serve anyone's interest in particular, right? Like let's say even if I don't even know. Like I guess it serves like it's like I guess ideological standpoint, right? But I don't think this is the time to like make that statement. It's the time to get people the help that they need. And it's like every other country seems to have no issue with helping their people, right? But we're fundamentally different as well as how we're structured and how our government works too. So that's another thing.
Yeah, and the point that we keep hammering here, like you mentioned, the RNC and DNC are on the way. Election day is also on the way. You see what I'm saying? So it's like these Republicans that are showing their ass right now of just basically this capitalism agenda that they're pushing, that we don't have the money to do this. They're good. They'll figure it out or whatnot. Those motherfuckers, your seats are on the line come November, and your voting base is not going to forget this. They're not. This is how Senate majorities change hands every 4 years. So the Republicans talking that big shit right now, when things reverse come November and it's a Democrat majority Senate, Keep that same energy because it'll be because of things like this, like simple measures like this, bro. It's sad.
DK, what you want to say?
No, I was gonna say what I think is actually gonna happen is we're gonna have to rely on the heroes that we relied on last election to save us, the Russians.
Hey,
God.
Oh man, so Russia approves a COVID vaccine with less than 2 months of human testing. That's fucking alarming, bro. That's incredible because vaccines, like typically the whole life cycle of a vaccine, usually it can take decades, right, to have a vaccine properly deployed, developed, researched, tested, deployed, and have enough information to say, okay, this is like proven. Something like mumps, rubella vaccine, polio vaccine, etc.
Whooping cough.
Yeah, whooping cough. So it's very interesting because the Russian government seems very intent on pushing this vaccine. And actually something, oh yeah, they also named the vaccine Sputnik 5, which is a callback to when the Russians put the first man-made object in space, Sputnik. So
they just want to be first, man. Like they want to be first in the arms race and be like, see, USSR didn't work out, but vaccines did.
Yeah, and then one thing was Russia's top, and I found this out today. Russia's top respiratory scientist just resigned because for ethical reasons. So his name is Alexander Chukalin. I'm not sure if I'm pronounced that correctly, but he's
Doesn't
he was
sound
on
not Russian enough.
Yeah, he was on the Health Ministry's Ethics Council, and then he just resigned because he says the vaccine was rushed, and it wouldn't be ethical to deploy a vaccine that soon. And apparently, I don't know. We'll expect to see some news from it, but that's interesting.
Well, if he's smart, he'll get the hell out of the country because Russia has a very long history of killing scientists that know too much. Like, for instance, I think when Russia got banned from the Olympics a couple of years ago, a whole bunch of like scientists who were involved with like steroid research, they just started mysteriously disappearing, or they were just turning up dead by suicide in their homes. So,
They still holding down Snowden though?
yeah, they're still holding Snowden down because if he steps foot in America, they're gonna put him in a freaking ice camp, dog.
We're gonna put him in a hole.
He'll be in Quantico. Like you'll never see or hear from Snowden again. The government hates Snowden because he dry snitched on the whole U.S. government. If you really think about it, that's what took place.
I think a lot of it was also the journalist's fault too, because I remember in his interview, who knows, whatever, but according to him, a lot of journalists released things that he didn't necessarily intend to be released, and it's so crazy when you listen to the Snowden story. Like he wasn't like a high level operative. He was just he was just like he was just a system admin who just had access to a ridiculous amount of information because the government was highly negligent. Let's say negligent.
That just means that they gave. Son, you know how much? I'll say from my experience, I've gotten permissions to stuff that I didn't need that level of permission for, and it's usually a combination of just like laziness or like flaws in the system. That nobody wants to correct. So it's just like, then you need some crazy high level access.
Did y'all see the movie? Because the movie's crazy.
No, I haven't.
The movie's actually really good. I think it's on Prime. Just Snowden. I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I think, plays Snowden. Kind of looks like it.
I remember.
Nah, I didn't get to see it. I wanted to watch it though.
It's really good.
But going back to the topic of the COVID virus and vaccine, I actually came across something a little while back talking about mutations in the coronavirus. I'm not going to play the video because it's just way too long. But essentially, mutations are like a normal thing, right? Whenever something copies over, there's just always a random chance that some mutation is going to happen. Yeah. And like natural selection tends to, help kind of weed out the ones that are useless and, naturally select the ones that are more advantageous to it. So coronavirus has mutated like hundreds of times since we first came across it, which is fine, right? Like most mutations aren't actually going to do anything. But what we've been finding, I'm here acting like I've been fucking doing the research. But what they've been finding is that there's mutations that have been increasing the spike protein. So y'all know that little picture that they always show, the ones that have the little red stuff on it, like those things are referred to as the spike protein. And that's the thing that's mainly responsible for the transmission. The mutations that they've been finding have been showing that the corona or has been mutating to have more of those on the surface, and that pretty much just means that it can increase the chance of it spreading. So, like in a lab, they've shown that it does increase the chance of spreading, but they do state that it could play out a little differently in real life because real life is not a lab. But still, at the end of the day, just be careful because like this shit could potentially get more infectious. But I mean, whatever. COVID's probably going to be around for like years and shit like that. So we're going to have to be watching these mutations forever and shit.
Hell yeah. And we also got a warning for the fall because people are being ridiculous and it's also flu season. So
it's about to get wilder. You just mentioned flu season. Like this is just the trailer. Like we're not even at the feature. We're not even at the feature presentation yet.
Yeah, right. I mean, I get why people are trying to meet up and do together things, but I don't know, man. Sometimes you just got to get over yourself and just adapt to the situation. Like, just get over yourself. Like, I know it sucks, like being at home, not being able to go to like parties and mass gatherings. Suck it up. That's just me. But
facts. Well, while we're on the topic of people, or I guess organizations that have adapted to it.
Yeah, Texas held his first Zoom jury trial, which is like the first time that's ever happened in the United States. So it was a virtual trial in a traffic crime. It was a traffic crime. Yeah, and it's funny. I'm just looking. It's like. You ever been in class, like a remote class or something like that? And everyone has like weird fucking faces and like, it looks exactly like that. It's interesting. They held oral arguments over like phone and Zoom. Is very, very interesting. And I don't even think it was like a big case. It was just like the first of its kind. Very interesting.
This is actually kind of dope because they can start recording and organizing everything digitally if this actually becomes like a thing.
Rather than having like a stenographer and things like that.
Or that artist that always comes up in the TV shows. It never looks like, the child never looks it's fun through those drawings. But whatever, I guess while we're on to more quote unquote fun things, other things that have been trying to adapt.
Oh yeah, Big Ten football, no more. Fall season's canceled. Also, I think Pac-12 is also canceled. So they canceled all of their fall sports, which we're gonna have to put maybe a third of America on suicide watch.
Pretty much.
Yeah, people. Yeah, holy fuck, man! Like no tailgates, no Elite Corso, no.
The wing industry is gonna suffer. The beer industry is gonna suffer.
No
pizza.
No,
the pizza industry is gonna suffer.
No.
Families will stay together.
No more gambling.
No.
The dark side.
No COVID-19 bowl brought to you by Tostitos. No,
exactly.
Man, a lot of people are going to be bored as fuck, man.
Bro, like high blood pressure and cholesterol and diabetes is like going to be regulated. So like doctors and insurance companies are going to lose money. It's a trickle effect. It's a trickle effect.
It's going to be crazy because I think things like this kind of like exacerbates people's like impatience to like get back to quote unquote normal life. So they're like, oh fuck, big. So people are going to be doing. I have a feeling some people are going to be doing extra shit just because they don't have their Saturdays filled with
beer, with football,
beer, wings, football, tailgate, CTE. etc.
I see.
So,
Maybe they'll look at this as an opportunity to get more involved in government, like one of our favorite rappers, Kanye West.
Oh
they
my
might.
God.
Kamala West.
They might. They might.
Kamala West.
Kamala West.
Kamala should just kick Biden out and then fucking take West
That's
as his
what-
fucking
They might.
running.
She's gonna
Yeah,
do
fuck
that.
it. Let's just go to that. You know, Biden selects Kamala Harris as his running mate, which makes her the first Black and Asian American woman to be on a major presidential ticket.
Facts.
My man, that is grabbing mad groups, man. That is pleasing everybody.
And she's an AKA.
Very,
What? Oh, okay.
very interesting. She was former prosecutor, so
Didn't she have
former
like a record for like doing like, I wouldn't say shady shit, but like attacking not attacking. Didn't she? There was some.
She did a bunch. Okay, so
well, she's a prosecutor. That's the thing. She's a prosecutor in California,
Doing her
and
job.
yeah, right. And California is known for having sort of draconian criminal justice just laws in the book, such as 3-strike rule. She also helped sign crime bill, even though the crime bill of the 90s, which pretty much prolonged sentences, exacerbated the quote unquote war on drugs, et cetera, et cetera. She wasn't the only one who had a hand in that. I think Biden signed it as well, and so did Bernie Sanders. It was basically universally thought that back in the day, by throwing out harsher sentences will disincentivize people. But psych.
Opposite.
They're gonna commit.
So how do y'all feel about this, like in general? I mean, I guess on mine, I'm happy that she looks like groups of people that need to be up there. A female definitely, but I don't know much about her. I don't know much about her policy or anything.
That's the only reason. I mean, I won't say that's the only reason, but that's a major reason, particularly now. Just having the optics, right? He's an old, may or may not have dementia, 77-year-old white guy, and the optics of having
Who likes young people.
Throw that in there too. That's important.
Funny, because like I think like last year I read an article of her saying that she believed the women that that accused
that came forth as accusers. That
accused Joe Biden of being creepy as fuck. But anyway, in politics,
it's so creepy is the nicest way to put it.
But like politics, people have short memories. People are hyper pragmatic, where they're willing to like
super forgiving.
Well, not even it's just like pragmatic. Like they're just willing to like not overlook major shit to advance their agenda. You know. So I don't know. I don't have an opinion either way. I think it's smart from an optics standpoint, but I mean, I don't know how that'll manifest. Like I don't know. Like I think Bernie Sanders would have been way better. Like that would have been bro. That would have been that's the I don't even know what to call it.
Two
that's
white guys?
Trump card, Exodia. It's Bernie Sanders.
No, black people. First of all, black people love Bernie. They love Bernie. Black women love Bernie. Like the Spanish people everybody loves Bernie. Bernie's like that uncle, that cool uncle. See what I'm saying? But
he could tap into Trump's like people who voted for Trump who are on the fence, who feel disenfranchised. Like Bernie fucking taps into that super hard from another angle. So I'm like, if you want someone who will jive fence voters, particularly in battleground states, come on, fucking Bernie's a lock. Like that's just my opinion, but that's my layman's opinion.
I mean, I listen. I love. I won't say love. I like Kamala. I do. Because I feel like, I've listened to a lot of her recent interviews about what's going on right now, because I'm focused on it now. Everybody that's like came through with the bashing videos. Like I saw this one Trump supporter. He made a giant big ass thread of all the policies that she like supported when she was a district attorney in California. The 3 strikes rule we talked about. The freaking I think it was like you can charge a woman, a single mother or a single parent a misdemeanor if they don't send their child to school or whatnot, and that targeted low income black families. Yada yada yada. Like there's a whole bunch of like skeletons, I guess, in her closet that like people are just pulling up And I'm just like, listen, you could do that about any politician on any side,
anybody.
on any side.
Yeah, any
you know what I mean?
person.
Democrat, Republican, Independent, Green Party, whatever. You see what I'm saying? You could do that about my girl AOC. You know what I mean? God forbid.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's gonna be nutty, bro.
But my thing is, you know what I mean? I feel like for the representation that Biden is lacking, you know what I mean? Because when I figured he was gonna win, because I was rooting hard for Bernie. I was going hard for Bernie. But I was like, my problem with Joe is I know that Black women aren't gonna vote for him, young people ain't gonna vote for him, and gay people ain't gonna vote for him. So his only hope, if he is gonna beat Trump, he got to get all three of those boxes
In his
checked.
pocket, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Exactly.
unfortunately, old people vote way more than any of those demographics, so he could be okay.
Right.
Right. But I mean, getting Kamala checks all three of those boxes because she's Democratic and she represents California. It's the gayest state you could think of next to New York. You know what I mean? So I mean, like this, it is what it is. So I think for strategic purposes and just for what the type of legislation she's going to push for and just who she's going to appeal to or whatnot, I feel like it's a smart pick. You know what I mean? Were there other candidates in play that could have worked too? Yeah, but I think the strongest for who he wanted to actually win in November, it was Kamala. Everybody knew it was Kamala. That's why it really wasn't that shocker. Everybody got the alert.
Come on now.
And they were just like, oh, I won. All right.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I just think that having her may inspire some people who already lean Democratic to vote if they're apathetic, but I don't think she'll somehow bring in people who are on the fence or people who are, I don't think she taps into that demographic because she's just kind of like, she's not like super progressive like a Bernie or something like, I don't know. And not only that, but it's like the fact that she made those comments about Biden in the past regarding like his creepiness, right? It's like they're going to push on that. Like, there's no way they're not going to push on
they're
that.
They're
going to go.
Politics.
They're going to go hard. And I've already seen compilations of like
I know you've seen them.
People cracking on Joe Biden, it's creepy and hilarious because people are really clowning on him, and it's really fucking funny.
The one where he's like, and again, I know you've seen it, Ed, like the compilation of him smelling girls' hair.
Oh God!
Oh my God!
And he always has his hands. Me and my brother were talking about it
in his pocket.
Today. Like he always has his hands around their shoulders, around their waist.
Oh
and
yeah.
Dude, he kisses them on the back of the head, and he smells the area where he just kissed. It's so
who
fucking
smells, bro. The smelling is the creepiest thing, bro. You went from grandpa to creepy grandpa.
He's like that creepy uncle that wants to give you candy for sitting on his lap, dog. Like that.
Ugo, closet Trump supporter, confirmed. Confirmed.
Put the lotion on its skin.
Listen, this is actually a MAGA hat. This is the 2024 version MAGA hat.
Confirmed.
I turned it to the back. It's black and red to get the black.
I see what you're saying.
What?
Yeah.
I can't see shit.
Yeah, man. And also, Kanye West met with Jared Kushner recently.
Of course he did.
In Colorado.
It's because he was having they were discussing a three-way with, Kanye, Ivanka, and with Kushner. They were just like trying to negotiate.
It was interesting. So,
Jungle Fever.
So, his wife wasn't present, which is, I mean, neither here nor there, whatever. He's still attempting to get on the November ballot in several states, despite being, I think he got, rejected in a few states.
He got kicked off the Illinois ballot, his home state, by the way. They were like, nah, you can't, we're not putting you on under any circumstance.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he also talked about an upcoming book about Black empowerment called Powernomics, that he's saying Powernomics, which is interesting. And as we previously mentioned, that people told him that he could run spoiler for Biden, and he says he's not he doesn't really care either way. And it's very interesting that he's meeting with Jared Kushner. So,
I mean, again, they're targeting the swing states. Like they're targeting the swing states first. Again, Ohio, Florida, and Pennsylvania. They're just like, yo, at worst, we gotta get him on the ballot there. We got just to siphon off just enough votes to potentially give a couple percentage points to the Trumpster, you know, and it's hilarious, dude. It's hilarious. Like, again, we talked about on last episode, New York Times broke the article. Like, you got Republicans who've been caught red-handed. They've been caught red-handed working to get signatures. Like this one chick, I think this was in Colorado. Like, this dude who was working for the Times, he wasn't even looking for her or whatnot. He was just posted up after a meeting, and he's just like, yo, why are you rushing into this building with all those signatures? So then they did like a Google search. Twitter police is like, yo, hold up. You work for Trump. Hold up, you're a lawyer for Trump. Oh shit. You're trying to get Kanye on the ballot.
Yeah, I mean, hey man, it's gonna get real dirty when it comes to just this political jockeying and like everyone's gonna pull out all the stops. It's gonna be interesting. But man, I don't know. I don't even know what more to say, man. That shit is.
What more can I say?
Great. Yeah. like that.
This is going to be an interesting election. That's what this is going to be.
Oh man,
big facts.
It's gonna be crazy, and I don't know, man. If any real amount of the population votes for Kanye West, then you know they deserve whatever. like holy shit, man. That's the ultimate waste of a vote. Like, come on, man. Like just write your name on the ballot. Put in Harambe. Like, do something.
Harambe.
Like
Harambe.
Come on.
This guy, he went old school.
Yeah, man.
Call back.
Yeah, man. That shit is crazy.
Well, while we're on the topic of calling back to earlier issues,
the Beirut explosion. So basically, no one has come forward as to who actually owned the ammonium nitrate that was allegedly caused the explosion.
Why would anyone want to?
Yeah, well, yeah. Why?
It's a fucking good blade.
Like they know the origins, they know where it came from. Like they know what ship it came on, but no one's taking responsibility. And now, you know, that's caused like all these protests and civil unrest in Lebanon because they've gotten the raw deal over the years. They've gone through civil war, regime change. And Beirut, from what I hear, is like a gorgeous city, but they've just been getting the raw deal for years. So
they're like, somebody say something.
So the government actually resigned due to the protests. The prime minister sat down, and the government is currently in flux. So that's crazy, and that happened with the quickness.
Wait. Which protest? What protest?
In Lebanon.
What are they protesting about?
The explosion.
About government
and how the government handling.
Yeah. Government incompetence, and they just suffered long from just years and years of incompetence, and they had a recent civil war. Their civil war ended in 1990.
Yeah,
Like fresh. Which is super recent. So I mean, shit has been in flux for a while. So people are just fed up.
I wish our government would resign. Honestly, with the way they're handling this COVID thing. When I saw like that the government just resigned. I was like, not the prime minister and like a couple of his officials. No, like the government.
Whole government was like,
it's like, you know what?
Y'all.
Like we out. Shoot. Like, could you imagine that? Could you imagine like Schumer and Pelosi and like Meadows and Mnuchin, and just all of them are just like, you know what? Fuck it.
He and his government steps down. I think they use like I don't know their system, but just by reading, it sounds like they use the parliamentary system, which is like a little. Which is like
that's older. That's way older.
Yeah, I mean it's similar, but like their version is that whoever. So let's say Ugo has a party and DK has a party, right? And you're each the head of your respective parties.
Wow.
If your party gets the majority of votes within, let's say Ugo's party gets the majority votes in whatever their version of Congress is.
Yeah.
The head of their party becomes the prime minister. and then they help form the government. So if your prime minister steps down, then that could just be the whole shebang bang right there.
Right.
Until you vote in new ones. So
It's interesting.
That's my interesting. Yeah.
Well then, while we're on the topic of voting in new ones,
Segue God. So so basically Puerto Rico and Washington DC they're in play to actually have statelihoods, to actually become states. So we would go from 50 states to 52 states. Now, if that were to happen, that would bring on 4 new senators. They bring in 2 senators from each of the new states, and they feel like there's a good chance that there'll never be a Republican majority in the Senate ever again. Well, not ever again, pretty much, if that were to take place, because DC, Maryland, obviously, is a blue state, has been a blue state for quite some time, and Puerto Ricans, especially after what happened with the hurricanes and a lot of the natural disasters that have taken place within the last few years, they cannot stand the way they've been treated by this Republican-led country. Like, remember Trump throwing out paper towels like basketballs?
Yeah.
Last time he visited.
That was a fucking meme if I've ever seen one. That's crazy.
I remember Puerto Ricans haven't forgot about that fuckery. They have not forgotten.
I got a question, and please excuse my ignorance. You can thank American public education for that. But I thought Puerto Rico voted like a few decades ago for their independence. Well,
they've had several votes. So, like, the most recent one was in 2017. They had a referendum whether of the political status of Puerto Rico. So the options were like statehood, independence, free association, or current territorial status. Right. The vote was 97% to be a state. However, there was only a 23% turnout, which means there was a lot of people just refused the vote because they didn't even believe how it's framed. It's still a very contentious issue. So it's hard to know, what the actual opinion is. I think in recent polls, it's like maybe a little less than half believe that there should be statehood, or maybe a little bit more. It's like iffy. So it's still a pretty contentious issue. But the 97% was due to people abstaining from voting due to how it was structured. I think it's because it asserted that the ballot asserted that Puerto Rico was like a territory of the United States or something like that, which people didn't like. I'm not sure the intricacies, but like basically the only people who came out to vote are the ones who wanted Puerto Rico to be a state. So it's still kind of like, iffy. Like, some people, from what I know, kind of want sort of independence. Like, they just want Puerto Rico to just be Puerto Rico. There's other people who are cool with the status quo. There are other people that want some sort of like hybrid deal, similar to what it is now, but with a little bit more representation. There's like all types of things.
So this is kind of like the one thing I wanted to ask about, specifically why they want it, like, or I guess how they stand to benefit from being a state, or really kind of like what's the situation right now in regards to the relationship between America and Puerto Rico? Because Puerto Ricans, right, they get automatic U.S. citizenship.
Well, they are citizens,
So they're citizens. But there's a lot of other benefits that like they're not getting, or specifically Puerto Rico, because they're not like, they're kind of like just a Commonwealth and shit like that.
Well, go ahead.
No, you.
All right. Well,
sir.
Again, if you're, remember, like I mentioned earlier, if you are a state, thank you. If you are a state, you have 2 or more, depending how big you are, senators. Yeah. Those senators get to sit in at senatorial meetings, as well as they help dictate legislation and policy within your local state or whatever. So it's like, you mean to tell me like Puerto Rico would have an opportunity to have 2 senators sit in and dictate laws and legislations and benefits that can directly affect Puerto Rico? Who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't want that? So they definitely want that type of representation.
and just if I'm not mistaken, what they have now is just somebody that just says, speaks on their behalf, but they're not taken serious because they don't have any type of voting power. And my fault. Some of the stuff is like, fuzzy to me, but also just to like, I think some of these things people really don't know. And I'll say, this is something that I had to like go out my way to kind of find out.
I don't know either.
Yeah. They also can't vote for the president of the United States either. They can't. They don't have representation in the Senate. They don't have representation in the House. They have like some faux representation. Like,
do they get taxed too?
That is a good question.
No taxation without representation.
Only thing I know about Puerto Rico is I don't got to use my passport to go to Puerto Rico.
Well, yeah, because technically it's weird. So Puerto Rico is America, but it's not America.
Right.
It's weird.
That's what it comes down to. It's like
it's America, but it's not.
It's like if you're a state, you're invited to the party, and you're an official country club member. You have all the benefits. Puerto Rico has like, okay, you can come to the party, but like you can't leave with a gift bag. You're not added to like the email. Like, you know what I mean? You don't get a brand new company car or perk or benefit every year or whatever. You just you can come to the party.
He's like, don't get in the pictures. Don't get in the pictures.
You can't get in the pictures. Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, and it's like
Puerto Rico, stay over there.
They can't vote for their head of government. The Puerto Rican head of government is the president of the United States, and they can't vote for him unless if they move to another state. Oh yeah, fuck it, whatever. Their shit is normal. Like if they move to New York, all of a sudden they have all these privileges, or let's call them rights. Not really privileges. Rights as an American that you don't have living in Puerto Rico. And the only difference is that, hey, you're in one place rather than another. And just being in that one place grants you special rights. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's why they say United States of America and territories, whatever. Technically Puerto Rico is one of those territories. They want to be a part of the actual states of America. You know what I mean? So it's like, If Kamala Harris and Biden are smart, they would push to add this on because that's gonna just look. They'll get points for that. They'll get major points for that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because it's like so. Also, DC.
Which is about to ask. What's the deal with DC? I was gonna ask.
So they want to make DC a state as well, and there's like a large contingent of people that want statehood for DC. So DC is in this weird sort of thing where they have a mayor, but they're like the city is pretty much run by the Fed. Like I think if you get like a felony conviction, like you get tried in Fed court. They don't have their own district court, I believe. I'm not quite 100% sure.
That's crazy.
But I mean I guess there's advantages for being in DC, but largely they get representation in the House, but it's not like voting representation in the House. And they also get no senator, right? So basically they're pretty much run by the Fed. And there's arguments on both sides as to why DC should become its own state, why it shouldn't become its own state, or maybe it should be absorbed into like Virginia or Maryland. It's like this whole thing. But the backlash is that, like Ugo mentioned earlier, that if DC becomes a state, that's like that's a gimme for Democrats, right? It's a blue state. So if you have two people in DC, unless some sort of demographic or ideological change happens elsewhere, then Democrats are guaranteed to have it. Yeah. Now, Puerto Rico, I don't think that's a lot because Puerto Rico isn't like a super like they have both. Like, they have, people who are conservative, people who are liberal. So it's like whatever, but it's still too much of a chance that, Republicans don't want to take that fucking chance. So they think it's a politically motivated move. So they're like, yo, fuck all of that. It's politically motivated, which it is, but it doesn't take away from the validity of the idea of Puerto Ricans of statehood of Puerto Ricans having the same sort of rights that we have, so we will see. And it passed in the House, by the way, for DC to become a state. earlier this year, it passed the House of Representatives, right?
Which is Democrat led.
And now it's in the Senate. So the Senate, they're sitting on it, but at some point they'll vote on it. Probably get thrown out, right? But
exactly.
if the Senate turns Democrat, right? It's a wrap, bro. Like
for the foreseeable future, for sure.
We're gonna have to add a star. You have to change the flag. Add a star, like right on the outside, like just.
The star is gonna be a Puerto Rican flag, a mini star Puerto Rican flag.
Oh man, yo, the Puerto Rican flag in it.
Yes,
that shit would be fun.
Damn. That'll be the next Captain America movie. Captain America has to liberate Puerto Rico.
Captain Boricua.
I mean, he looks like Captain Puerto Rico already. Like basically. Wait, you have Captain America on your shirt right now. He looks like Captain Puerto Rico. It's 1 star.
Oh, that's terrible.
He's already Captain Puerto Rico.
Yeah, Captain Puerto.
Daddy Yankee's gonna do the soundtrack.
Daddy Yankee's the new Captain America.
While we're on the topic of things America wants to keep out of the country.
Oh, segue God. So Immigration Nation, this is the recap part 2. Again, I've seen it. So anybody who watched more episodes,
I've seen an episode, and I read the previews for the rest of them.
Oh, okay.
Haha.
I was watching Umbrella Academy, y'all. My bad. I didn't really get to.
Oh man, I didn't. Umbrella Academy was such a drag.
I haven't seen this season, so don't say nothing, please. Thank you.
All right. Well, whatever. I tried to watch another episode, but all I kept seeing was people doing fucked up shit. But what else did you find out from this thing?
Here's what's interesting is that you mentioned this, DK. You mentioned this a bunch of times that the people or the targets and also collaterals, right? And collaterals are basically, so let's say ICE is looking for a specific immigrant to deport. If there's other illegal immigrants, they have the discretion to take them in as well with no warrant, which is crazy, right? So the warrants that they get are these federal warrants that don't have the same power as like a state or local warrant. So what they don't know is that, so here's what ICE will do. They'll knock on the door and they'll say, oh, policia, most of the immigrants are Spanish or whatever, right? And they'll ask to be let in, and then people don't know their rights, and then they let the police in. Once you let the police into your home, it's a wrap, right? Their warrants don't have like they would need I don't even know why they call them warrants, because they're like they don't have the same force as like a regular warrant would, right? So if law enforcement wants, let's say DK murders somebody, right? They suspect you being a murderer.
Hey, that's kind of harsh.
Right?
So whatever, we'll roll with it.
NYPD goes to a judge, says, hey, this guy's might be a murderer. We need a warrant to enter his crib, because he might murder someone else. And the judge is like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. So they don't really need your permission. Like they can knock on your door and be like, hey, police is here. But if you don't let them in, they're breaking the fuck in. These warrants, as far as I know, that are issued by the Fed don't have that same power, or the ones that are given to ICE. So these people are letting them into their houses and getting arrested because they don't know their rights, which is really fucked up. And they take advantage of that. And it's like they're incredibly vague. Like I remember one scene where someone kind of knew their rights. Like, do you have a warrant? Or can you show me a warrant? And then, the cop was like, oh, can you just let us in? Yeah, we have a warrant, whatever. They're legally allowed to lie to you, right? They can lie to you.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess technically they do. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's one thing. In general, law enforcement has no obligation to tell you the truth during investigation.
SVU makes so much sense.
They don't have to. They can lie to you. They don't have to. But you can't lie to them. That's the thing.
Of course not. You can't lie to an officer.
You can't lie to officers, but they can lie to you.
You can't lie under oath either, obviously.
It's a game of your life.
So
At all times.
quick pro tip: if you ever get arrested, whether you're innocent, guilty,
Stay
the
quiet.
only thing you should do is ask, "Hey, why am I being stopped, or am I being detained?" If not, leave. If they are, then shut up. From there on, you can either
Shut
not
the
say anything.
fuck up.
Yeah, you can either
Yeah.
not say anything or just be like, "I'm invoking the 5th," and then that's it. When they say you have the right to remain silent, take advantage of that because you have no reason to incriminate yourself, and it's the burden of proof is on them, right? So don't say I didn't do it. Don't say I couldn't have been there. Don't say anything because even things that you believe that will may perhaps supposedly prove your innocence could be used
against you in the court of law.
could be
the
used
court of
against
law.
you. Let's say quick example. Damn, this is a hard fucking tangent, right? But let's say a shooting happens, right? And let's say you heard gunshots or something. You're walking home, and cops say, "Hey, man, did you hear gunshots?" "Oh yeah, I heard gunshots. I was walking around, whatever. I'm just walking home from the store." You tell them that, but let's say you're the only person. You're one of the few people who are in that area, right? You're automatically a suspect, right? And you didn't even know. You're just being honest. You're just doing your thing. But now you're a suspect because you were in the vicinity, and there's only so many people who could have been in that vicinity. So because you volunteered information, you could be dealing with issues. So you don't have an obligation to discuss anything, your day, what you're doing. That's it. If you're being detained, just show ID, shut the fuck up. That's it. And deal with it later. Let your lawyer handle it. Let the public defender handle it. Deal with it later.
Yo, so what are the stuff that they talk about in the documentary?
They did a great job of talking about the political side of it, like the fact that obviously mayors give impact immigration legislation, senators, governors, congressmen, all the way up to the president. They all affect legislation that involves immigration. I didn't know that sheriffs have as much power as they have because there was a whole episode. Hopefully you guys get to it because it's hilarious. I'm just gonna spoil it. Sorry. This senator, I think in North Carolina, is black senator. He was running against the incumbent, this white senator, and there was a bill that was passed, I think, nationwide, but the bill could be overturned by the sheriff in that county. Like that, there was a provision in there. So I think the bill's called like 297 or 279A. Basically, what the law said was local government can work with ICE hand in hand. So basically, if local government picks up a guy on a traffic stop and they feel like that person it might be an illegal alien or illegal immigrant or whatever, they can detain them, call up ICE like, "Yo, we just picked up Pablo, what's his name? You guys want to come and pick him up and see if he's on your list for possible deportation?" And they would come and do that. So they'd work hand in hand. Obviously, a lot of states abuse that, especially ICE abused that, and they were just like, "Listen, we're just going to go set up shop in like Arizona or North Carolina or New Mexico, where we know it's a lot of illegals, and we're just going to cut a deal with that sheriff, and every single time when their cops pick up, a suspected illegal immigrant, we're just going to pull up, snatch them up, deport them, and they'll be out within 48 hours." So in North Carolina, the sheriff, one of the big reasons why he won. He was working with the townspeople, and he's like, "Listen, if you guys elect me, you have my word. First day of office, I'm gonna get rid of it because I can do that." So he did that. He ran and he won, and it was so funny because in the scene, it was on election day. They were like a local news outlet was interviewing the incumbent sheriff. He's like, "Yeah, man. I mean, hopefully I get another term. I really want to help the people out here. I understand ICE and 297A. I understand it's a big deal." So as he's interviewing, somebody comes up to him and is like, "Yo, you lost, bro. You finished last." So he looks at the phone. I think it was like votenow.org or whatever. And he's like, "Damn, I finished last." He's like, "Yeah, the race is over." Sorry.
Well,
And then it clips to the next scene, and the black sheriff is like, yeah, and he signs and he gets rid of 297A on the first day, like he promised. So, just the power of the vote. That's I think it's like episode 3.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, man.
like power of the vote definitely can impact immigration on the local level. Now when you talk about the federal, like you talk about statewide, nationwide or whatnot, the administration in power has a lot to do with it. Again, Trump, what's one of his biggest calling cards? We're gonna get all these rapists and murderers out of our country. So the zero tolerance policy, Trump put that shit in there. And that basically gave them free range to attack the collaterals and the non-criminal illegal aliens. I keep saying aliens, my bad. Illegal immigrants, and make life really difficult for them and jam them up pretty bad. So again, this is something to pay attention to in November. If Biden and Kamala do win, like, what are they going to do with this? Are they going to double down on it? You know what I mean? Are they going to try to be more lenient to people seeking asylum? Are they going to not? I don't think they'll abolish ICE, but are you going to restrict some of the? You're going to take away some of the power of ICE and Homeland Security? Because remember, ICE and Homeland Security are both the same thing.
Hand in hand, yeah.
They're hand in hand. You see what I'm saying? So, like, what is the role of this new administration, or if Trump does win again, how is he going to make it even harder? You know what I mean, for illegal immigrants to survive here in America? It's something to pay attention to moving forward in 2020.
I want to amend a statement earlier, or not amend it, but I want to clarify in regards to not opening doors. So typically, what ICE gets, they do have an arrest warrant or an administrative warrant of removal, right? But that's not enough to come into your home. Right?
Facts,
it's not
facts.
enough. They need a valid judicial search warrant. And then every search warrant is signed by a court or a judge. So always see that before you let anyone in or anything of that. And also, don't take anything we say as legal advice. No, seriously.
We're not lawyers.
Serious. We're not lawyers. Serious disclaimer. Don't take anything we say as legal advice. Maybe put that shit in the beginning of the episode so we don't get sued. But
watch Immigration Nation though.
It's incredible. It's incredible. It's like,
go ahead.
No, I think the most fucked up thing about it is that they're deporting veterans.
Yeah, I mentioned that
That's
last episode.
fucking insane to me, bro. What?
Dude, a lot.
They put their life on the line for bro.
So how does that work? How does that? Well, I guess even though they fight, they don't get citizenship automatically.
Yeah,
exactly. They mentioned it in the documentary. Basically, what it is I don't think they require. You don't need a U.S. passport to register or enlist in the Army.
No, you don't. No, you don't. I knew someone I used to work with. He was from Jamaica. He just came to the country and he just signed up for the Navy. And then, eventually he did become a citizen. But he came here through questionable means. But it's crazy, man.
Puerto Rico.
If you serve a term in the U.S. Armed Forces, right, and you're a veteran, that should be instant citizenship.
Absolutely,
instant, immediate,
absolutely.
I mean, then granted,
that's crazy.
Granted, the one way to look at it is that people are going to join it just to get the citizenship.
So what?
Yeah. So be it.
That's valid. Yo, think about it. You're a military, right? You're part of one of the largest militaries in the world. You have a military presence in virtually every single continent, right? You want the manpower. You want people who are motivated, right? Who's going to be more motivated than someone from another country who wants citizenship? And then not only that, but the military vets people. You vet people. They go through boot camp or basic or whatever, depending on the branch.
Yeah.
They get training. They serve. They usually go on. So, they'll have terms. So it can be 4 years, active, 4 years, not active, like whatever the term is. It's like if you invest that amount of time, if you invest that amount of time, how what greater proof of citizenship is like potentially putting your life on hold and potentially putting your life on the line for said country. That should be automatic. That should be a part of the deal. That should be a part of the thing. That should be a part of the contract. After serving X amount of time or fulfilling X amount of requirements, citizenship, easy.
Absolutely, dude.
That's a no fucking brainer, bro.
And the numbers is something crazy, like 50,000 illegal immigrants, whatever, that served in the armed forces. They were deported like all in one fell swoop, like over the last 2 years or something like that.
What, bro?
Like think about that. Just think about that number of like 50.
Yo, I would be so salty, bro. Like that's the type of shit that gets like malicious setup, anti-American malicious setup in other countries. Like that's how terrorist attacks happen,
with
bro.
training.
Like
they're super trained and shit. Yeah.
Like especially if you actually fought and you got wounded, you got a Purple Heart, you got all these accolades, and they're like, yeah, thanks, man, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And not even and like, oh my God. And it's not only that, it's like you get put in handcuffs by ICE, and oh my God, man. That's insane.
You gotta stay at a detention center. You get separated from your family.
Yeah.
Or your family gets kicked out before you, and then you get kicked out eventually afterward. Like, dog, it's wild. It's wild.
And you gotta fight, and these people have to fight to stay in the country. These people, they need a lawyer. They need, like, oh my God, it's crazy, man.
The episode that tackles that with the dude that he lives in New Mexico.
Yeah.
He's basically on the run. Like, actually, he gets deported, and then he smuggles himself back into. He documents all this on YouTube.
Oh my God!
He gets what? He's like, yo. He chronicles, like, he does like a vlog, like a month-long vlog. He's like, listen, all right, I've been deported. Today I'm coming back home. I know I'm gonna be on the run for the for the foreseeable future, but I fought for this country. I shed blood for this country. I'm an American at the end of the day. I'm not just Mexican. So he goes back in, and then it was, I think, the governor of the current governor of New Mexico. Mm-hmm. Before she became governor, and she was I think she was a mayor or whatever. She was running. He was in talks with her, and he's like, listen, if you get elected, like, I want you to give me a pardon and allow me to become a citizen.
Yeah,
like, he went hard for her in her campaign. Went hard for her, and so basically he had I forgot what the name of the coalition was that they saw his story on YouTube, and they just got behind him, and they donated, and they paid for lawyers for him to get temporary asylum, or I think TPS status or whatever, temporary residence or something like that. I forgot the name of it. So he gets it, bro, and then in the episode, it shows him going to the governor's freaking office, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm here to meet with the governor. Like, do you have an appointment?" He's like, "No, I don't have an appointment. Like, she told me that she was gonna make time for me, and she's not returning my phone calls. She's not returning my emails. This dude stays there for the entire day. Then eventually, her secretary comes out. And he's like, "Yeah, she just left. But I'll take your information down, and I'll give you my email."
Wow.
And he's just like, "Yo, listen,
bro."
So he's like, he gives like this big ass and passionate speech. He starts crying, dog. It's mad emotional, man. And I feel for dude, because I'm just like, yo, him and his girl.
That's crazy.
They can't even have a kid. He's like, his girl wants to have a kid, and he's just like, yo, I'm not gonna have my son or daughter be born, and then we're gonna be on a run from ICE the whole time he or she.
Bro,
he's like, nah.
Yo, if there's a match, if there's something crazy, like some sort of, like, I don't know, like if he does something to somebody, don't be surprised.
Exactly.
Because that's the type of thing that pushes people to the edge, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he's doing, like, he did everything right. Like, imagine growing up, like, doing everything right, joining the armed forces, serving a country that not even your country. Like, think about it. Imagine we go to fucking, I don't even know. what's an obscure country? North Macedonia, and we joined their military, right? I'm like, yo, I should probably get some citizenship out of this. Like, come on, I came all the way over there. Like, come on, man. Like that's just insane. Like, I don't get the rationale for not giving them. Like what is the even as like a right-leaning person who wants to get all the illegals out, whatever, cool, that's fine, right? But people who serve this country, those are the people that you want.
That's the makings of a supervillain, bro.
That's yo.
The makings of a supervillain.
Yo, that's Killmonger. That's Killmonger.
Y'all saw Joker.
Yeah, that's Killmonger.
Yo, he's gonna be Killmonger.
Superheroes are responsible for most of their villains.
Elmonger. He's gonna be Elmonger. Captain America got some trouble on his hands, bro.
Oh man.
Oh man, that's crazy. But
it's wild. But it's an issue again, and I'm interested to see how the next administration tackles immigration and veterans.
Yeah. Not only that, but on the first fucking episode, just as this is the last thing I have to say about it. On the first episode, it shows this guy pulling out a knife and illegally entering an apartment building.
Yes.
That's super illegal, bro. Yep. That's super illegal, and they showed it on camera. So yeah, that's it.
Watch Immigration Nation.
It's good.
Well then, while we're on the topic of other things we should be watching.
Segue God.
Did y'all see this video?
Yeah, I mean,
it's not that big of a deal.
It's not a big deal at all. It's just people are bored, bro.
Yo, so what exactly are people talking about? So it's just a video where they're just showing off their body and that's it?
Nah. So WAP.
Go ahead.
WAP stands for. My mom said it, so it's awkward. WAP stands for wet ass pussy.
Wepa.
Right? And that's what they're thinking about in their song. So the entire song is them creating like a ode to their vaginas. And they're saying how they want to be treated by men moving forward as far as their sexual fantasies and sexual cravings go. Now, the issue with the men in this, like a lot of men spoke up saying, oh, I have a daughter. You're teaching my daughter the wrong things. Women shouldn't talk about themselves like this. I can't believe there's music out here so vulgar. Mind you, hip hop has been degrading for years, bro.
Like, where have they been? This is music for the past 50 years, bro. This isn't new.
2 Live Crew, Lil Kim,
Jay-Z.
Nah, well, 2 Live Crew is a little different. That was OD. That was men.
Yo, we played 2 Live Crew in my honors communication law class.
That's hilarious.
That shit was so funny.
I don't know about music video nows, man, but I can't like growing up. I can't remember a video not having like women in some type of provocative way, specifically like rap videos. So that's kind of ridiculous.
Yo, bro, the 2000s were the golden era of titties, bro. It's crazy.
Right. Because that's when everybody started buying them. It's like they don't come in to, I guess, speak up. Like some of the lyrics are suggestive, are like completely vulgar, but this has been happening. Like this is nothing new.
All right, so men are just reaching. So
yeah, it's like it's weird because it's like as men you could say certain shit, but it's like as soon as women, it's just weird. It's like
up and on.
I don't get what they're mad about. It's like women are being sexual. So what? Like I don't know. I don't even see how that's a bad thing, bro. Like wouldn't you want? Like don't you want women to embrace their sexuality? Doesn't that make it better for everyone if everyone's just cool with shit like that? Yeah, and it's so weird. It's like America has this weird thing where it's like we're very desensitized to like violence and shooting and things like that. But when it comes to sex, which is way less of a thing. Right? It's how we were all born. It's cravings that the vast majority of us have. It's something that most of us engage in, and it's natural. It's like, it's not a big deal, but somehow it's like, oh yeah, violence is cool, but sexuality isn't. I don't know. It's stupid.
It's the double standards, bro. It's like, okay, so Jay-Z, prime example. So Jay-Z can make a song called Big Pimpin'. He's on a yacht with literally hundreds of women. pouring bottles of Cristal on chicks, talking
Love 'em,
about
fuck 'em, love 'em, lead 'em, but I don't fucking feed 'em.
talking about yo, I'm never gonna get married.
He fed them champagne.
He's like, I'm
He
never
did feed
getting
'em.
married. I can have sex with whoever I want. I can do whatever I want because I'm Jay-Z and I got a bucket hat on. Yeah. So, but you got two chicks. If Meg Thee Stallion does a video where she's on, like, for prime example, what was the hot girl summer? I remember that was getting backlash. It's like,
Yeah, I was getting backlash.
you got all these women on this boat and they're exposing themselves and yada yada yada. I'm just like, but Jay-Z just did it. No, it was a couple
Bro,
years
welcome
ago,
to music.
it's the double standards are crazy. They're crazy. It's like a lot of men feel threatened by the success of women. That's what it boils down to. You know, because I read an article on that and I'm just like, yes, that's definitely what it is. And it goes back to another stereotype. Part of it is a stereotype, and part of it is true. Some men are threatened by successful women. You know what I mean? Or they feel emasculated by a woman that makes more money than them or is more successful than them. They feel less of a man.
That's such an old man's issue.
Yeah.
I'll be a stay-at-home dad. Fuck that, man. I'll be
It's
a
like-
trophy husband.
Bruh.
Yo, even from the fucking, it's like you're a heterosexual male. Like, why does this bother you? Like,
Yeah.
shouldn't this be a good thing? Like, titties and ass, bro. Like, that isn't that what you like? Like, what? I mean, they're just like literally. It's like literally they're selling what people want. Like sex and you know, like just like things that are seen as like taboo or edgy. Like people like that shit. So all this is doing is giving them more steam, giving them more money, and fuck it. They're earning. Yeah, they're winning, and they should, because people are idiots.
Dude, controversy sells. It's why it's another. Besides the fact that, prime example, besides the fact that Eminem's white, you know what I mean, and white privilege, he did like factor and benefit from that, and he's mentioned that. He's made no qualms about that. He's like, yeah, I understand that. But dude, the shock value of him talking about rape and murder and kicking pregnant women in the stomach and pushing them down the steps and killing his baby mom and this, that, and the third, and calling gays everything in the book or whatnot.
Nobody said anything.
Nobody, like, yeah, he had a huge backlash from like the LGBTQ plus or whatever, and like, you know what I mean, and church groups and this, that, and the third. But what happened? He sold a shit ton of records and made a shit ton of money. And then
he's also nice. Like he's a beast. So
exactly. But
and then he did a song with Elton John, and everybody was like, "Oh,
okay.
Oh, never mind.
He is white."
Yeah.
I do have one other question.
Controversy. Go ahead.
I thought people were talking shit also about Kylie Jenner showing up on
that's
this.
That's the other part. That's the other part. Okay, so I did some research about this. Black Twitter was furious that she was in this video. First of all,
she didn't belong there.
Yeah,
why?
Black women.
Dude, so what?
Black women hate the Kardashians. This is like common knowledge.
It's
like,
a movement.
They cannot stand them. They feel like the Kardashians are out to steal all the black successful athletes and actors and freaking.
They've been doing a good job.
They've been doing a good job at it.
I mean,
they've been stealing.
I mean, what is it like? Lamar Odom, fucking what? Lamar Odom, Kanye West, Reggie Bush.
They
and fucking Ray J. Who gives a shit, bro?
They tried to get James Harden. James Harden got out of it. He's like, you know what?
He was
like, no,
I'm good.
Like, it's just such
he
a weird.
He caught him with a step back.
Oh, the double step back.
Exactly.
Fucking Traveler, man. He made traveling cool. But
going back, what exactly are they complaining about?
They feel like she's appropriating the culture once again.
She's a culture.
That's why. Yeah, that's why.
But how?
They put her in the video. Like what?
But how? What exactly are they?
So DJ,
like they feel. Please
say. You see how we have the base, right? Say Kylie Jenner just comes out of nowhere and says she has a podcast called The Base, and Jen just runs with it, and everybody's like, "Whoa! I heard about The Base before," and Kylie Jenner's like, "Nah, this is mine. I just came up with it."
That's different, bro.
She takes full dresses, like full attire from other people's websites, and doesn't give them the credit that they deserve, and then redoes their item and sells it as if it's her own.
Everybody does this. Black, white, whatever shade. That's business. But I'm specifically talking about this video. Like, I get the whole thing with people getting annoyed with the Kardashians. I 100% get that. Yeah. But I'm specifically asking about this video And mind you, I did not see the video except for the clip of her walking and looking back. I saw that little
That's
part,
all.
but I didn't see the video. But what exactly was she wearing? Something that was she? Was she popping it like
she racked up a register of so many issues that every time people see her, it's automatic like, nah, fuck you. Like
she was the tamest thing in the video.
She was.
Like what? Like what are you mad about? Like she just showed up and walked and like she was just there.
She just walked into the room.
It's in no correlation to the raunchiness of the song.
Oh man,
I don't want Kylie to associate herself with our culture because she feels everything.
It's the culture is associating themselves with her, so it's like she got. It's not like she kicked down the door.
But that's what they're mad about. They're not just mad at her. Yeah, they're mad. They're mad that Cardi, Meg. Why do you feel like you need her to push the agenda that you?
Because she a billionaire.
Because maybe they don't need her. Maybe they want her. Maybe they fuck with her.
They put Viola Davis.
Who knows?
They put Viola Davis' face on Kylie Jenner's body.
And Viola liked it. Viola shared that shit. She was Viola. Like, yo, this is the
it's like people, oh my God, people care about the dumbest shit, bro.
Go vote, man. This is why we can't get shit done. Because only like 20-something% of people vote, man. What the fuck we talking about? This fucking random white chick showing up in the fucking music.
I mean, like appropriation is an issue. It is like I'm not over here saying it is, bro.
I don't know. I'm iffy on that, bro. It is. I'm very iffy on it.
Not if it's done appropriately.
I'm very iffy on it.
If you're okay with appropriation, then you're okay with gentrification. That's the way I look at it. You see what I'm saying? Because it's just like, yo,
no, those are way too different things. They're not even analogous, bro.
White people jumping on the wave to make a buck is not cool. It's just not. It's business. Okay, both are business. Both is money at the end of the day. So
I don't know. I don't agree with that.
Oh, it's not? So gentrification isn't about money?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying okay, let's go back. You conflating gentrification with appropriation. I mean, in certain specific cases, maybe, but those are two fundamentally different things. Because like gentrification doesn't necessarily have to have white people in it. Gentrification is just more of a class issue than anything.
Well, okay, so prime example, right? Prime example. So I'll just use Newark for an example, right? Okay, so Cory Booker comes out and he wants to make Newark safer. He wants to clean it up for black people, right? He like in mind when that's the agenda he's pushing. He's like, I'm going to be the mayor and I'm going to help clean up crime. I'm going to clean up the streets. But at the same time, a hockey arena is being built. Now, hockey, what sport, what demographic does hockey appeal to?
Mexican. No, white people.
Jamaican.
Hockey appeals to white people. Right. So he comes in with one agenda that a lot of people were looking at. Okay, dude, this is going to help blacks out. This is going to clean up crime. This is going to definitely help the drug and the drug issue from the crack epidemic. This is going to help black people out. Fast forward 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years when we get closer to the actual arena being built. Okay. There's a Chipotle here now. And now there's a spin class,
Starbucks,
and there's a Starbucks, and there's a Qdoba, there's all this shop. Exactly. And meanwhile, all the black businesses, the Dr. J's of the world, and yada yada yada, and the VLMs, they're all out of work now. They don't exist there now. Like the presence of the black face is gone now. Look at the Barclays Center. I can jump over to that. How the Barclays Center was created. You know what I mean? So you got whites coming now, or non-blacks, because they're Asians that live in Newark now. You know what I mean? There are whites that live in Newark now. You know what I mean? So they come in now, and now they're just like, oh, Newark is so vibrant. It's so vibrant now. Like I want to learn about the Newark riots, and you know what I mean, and the music and the culture and the NJPAC and all the different artists and musicians and whatnot. I want this black culture now. They jump on the wave. They're not from there.
There's a lot to unpack with what you're saying, because I don't think any of this has to do with appropriation in respect to like what specifically this video is. I get what you're saying, where you're coming at, but I don't know what that has to do with appropriation. All that is people who are more wealthy moving to a place where they can buy real estate cheaply and have whatever lifestyle that they want. Now, there is a racial component, but I don't see what that has to do with appropriation. Like
Whites.
Let me. All right, hold on. Let me
Right.
just summarize at least from what I took away. Like, I think we can all agree to some degree that the Kardashians are swagger jackers.
That's what I'm getting at.
They've definitely become a part of I don't know if y'all want to call it hip hop culture, black culture, whatever. They're in there, whether
Yes.
people like it or not, and their
Yes.
kids are black.
they're
whether y'all like it or
caricatures,
not.
I
Yes.
think.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
my whole thing is just like, I get that. There's definitely a lot of instances where they're doing things where they're benefiting from the black community or whatever, different shades of black community. Definitely taking advantage of that. But this video specifically, I don't think it's that big a deal. And I think people are I think they're getting angry at her for being in this video, but I don't think it makes sense because it's just like, there's other specific things that they do that, yes, you can be angrier about. But this one specifically, I'm like, nah, bro, she fit right into that video.
I 1000% agree. You know, the point that I'm making though with why black people are upset that she's in the video is because of all the PTSD of the shit that they have swagger jacked.
Oh, I get that. I agree.
You see what I'm saying? So just
I agree with that.
so just seeing her, they're just like, see, Kardashians, they're on that shit again.
Doing it again.
They
I agree with
Back in
that.
our videos.
They gotta be in our videos.
I mean, I agree with that, but it's like saying it's our videos. Well, not really. She's in it, so it's more her video than anyone else's. Like, it's 1/3 her video. So it's like,
I mean, look at the voter. Look at the fan base of Kim. I'm not Kim Kardashian. The fan base of Megan Thee Stallion and the fan base of Cardi B.
It's fine, but I mean, they don't seem to have a problem with it. I mean,
They don't. They asked her to
Yeah.
be in the video. You see what I'm saying? They asked her the video, but the issue is twofold. Like I mentioned, the issue is that she's in it, and the issue is that they asked her. They felt like they needed her in it to begin with to give them, I don't know, clout or credibility or whatever. That's what they're upset about. You know what I mean? Do I agree? Do I agree with those 2 points or whatnot? I could care less. I enjoyed the video. I like big butts and I like breasts. I enjoy that. So it catered to everything that I wanted to as a dude. You know what I mean? So I could care less. They could have. I'm mad Gianna Michaels wasn't in the video. Shoot.
oh man,
You know what? I imagine that they
I
actually
gotta Google that. Actually, I should probably Google it later.
I'll say
I have a feeling she's a porn star. But.
one last thing before I guess we start closing this up. I do want to point out that she probably has a ridiculous amount of white fans. So I would want Kylie Jenner.
Yes.
Too.
Oh,
I would want Kylie Jenner.
Yeah.
You get me? Like, no, Megan Thee Stallion. Yeah, I would want. Well, not
I mean,
only
all of
about
them
bringing
do.
them in. Yeah, all of them have mad. Well, like in the I mean, you think about like artists like 50 Cent and stuff like that. Like, a lot of people that were buying his albums growing up are white. But that's besides the point. You got to cater to the white people, guys.
It's like, yo, let's appropriate her.
Yes, and that's the base.
I mean, I guess my views on appropriation are mixed because I don't necessarily think appropriation in all cases is necessarily a bad thing. It just depends on like when it's done, how it's done in the context. But
Until they steal the base.
well, that's not appropriation. That's just them stealing our shit. That's way worse. That's way worse.
Yeah, y'all make sure y'all trademark this shit, dog.
It's coming. It's coming.
Oh man,
Cool.
yeah, it's coming.
And that's the base.
Rundown.
Oh, that was the last one?